First, he's only been president-elect for a week, but Donald Trump is already planning big changes at the White House, unsurprisingly, giving government roles to tech billionaire Elon Musk and Fox News host Pete Hegseth. Pete has presented a morning show on the news network for the past 8 years. He's the gentleman on the left-hand side of the screen. But he has no experience in politics, although he has served in the military in Afghanistan and Iraq. So perhaps it's not a surprise that he's been picked as Trump's defence secretary. But do you think that Trump is making the right moves here by putting celebs in power, Cal?
Gosh. Do you know what? I think Elon Musk...
You've met him before, haven't you?
I've met him once before, yeah. He was married to an actress that I've worked with in the past, and I did meet him once in Los Angeles. He's a very unique guy. Like, at the time, he wasn't well known, but you could definitely tell there was something kind of interesting about this guy. And it was no surprise to me. I think he brought X to pretty much kind of fight wokeism, and I think he wants to be involved in politics, and I think he's really supported Donald Trump throughout the whole election. And I don't think there's an issue with celebs, because I think that people look to celebrities more than they look to politicians sometimes. And I know we've all discussed this quite a lot, how, you know, celebrities can really help move a narrative forward. And I think if you were watching or following the US and the elections, you know, we were all led to believe that Kamala Harris was just going to wipe the board, that she was just going to come out on top, and Trump had no supporters, because the media is left, and, you know, that's kind of, you know, what we're led to believe. But if you were to look on, you know, the other smaller platforms which are a little bit more right, are a bit more kind of Trump-loving, you'll find that actually, you know, Elon, Donald and the Fox News were very much geared towards that kind of blue-collar American audience, the working man. So I do think that he knows that that's why he's in power, and that's how he's won it, you know, through podcasts, you know, the Joe Rogan podcast, you know, through X, you know, he's podcast and X and Twitter has pretty much won him the election.
But I think that, because Kamala did all of those platforms, but I think the difference is when people are struggling, they want to find another way of working to perhaps make their lives better, and that's what Trump was selling, essentially, that the current form of government doesn't work, people's lives are quite difficult, I want to try another way, which is part of the reason why he's brought all these different people into these government roles and raised a few eyebrows. I mean, Elon Musk is going to be in the Department of Government Efficiency, and he's previously said that he wants to cut $2 trillion from the US federal budget. So should we be having people who, I don't know, I think Trump is sort of talking about making the government a bit more like a business, so running it a bit more like a business and making it a little bit more efficient. So should we be having people in roles who do know a bit more about their, you know, their own lived experience, for example, in order to be able to benefit others?
Well, like you say, experience, and obviously extremely successful man in his own right, and like you said, they're looking for change, something a bit different. And maybe it will work. Let's hope it does. But it does seem like a bit of an experiment. But at the end of the day, I think collaboration is where it's at. You know, just looking at our own government and how HRT for menopausal women, you had to pay for it. It was free in Scotland and Wales, but together with Caroline Harris, MP within government, also a doctor with the NHS and menopause mandate, bringing in the celebrities like myself and Davina McCall. We managed to kind of rally and make a lot of noise, and also bring that message to the wider audience at home, to bring that, you know, they always say, like, education is power. Got that message across, and finally, government changed the law, and the prescription is
and it's about,
and
one payment for entire year. So it's,
and a lot of it, doesn't it, Myleene, has to do with lived experience, because you've worked within government in order to be able to change legislation because of your lived experience.
Yeah, I never started off as a campaigner of sorts, and I never imagined that I'd end up in Parliament at cross-party conversations and trying to change bills. But then my experience of miscarriage and seeing how little help there was out there for women, and there were just no avenues, no answers, there wasn't like a critical path that we could all follow, then you just realise, well, actually, it's going to have to be me here. And so you rally up, like you said, your own team. And also, you are dealing with people who, as you said, there's no lived experience. They're making decisions for something they've never actually had to experience themselves or live, or actually, I suppose, understand what each woman in this country goes through. You know, you've got men making a decision for women who are miscarrying in A&E, but that's not everyone's experience at all. And change has to happen at the top.
Going back to that, is a very, very wealthy man. And he does know a thing or two about business. So why wouldn't Trump go, well, look, you know about business. Let's make America strong. Let's make America as most money as possible. Let's not worry about European politics. Or any, you know, we don't care about that. We care about making America great.
He's also taking women's rights away from them and not allowing abortion.
No, I don't agree with all of it at all.
But if we go back to sort of working with people that have experience, we have seen that ourselves in the current government. We have James Timpson, who is the prisons minister, as a result of his experience working with those who've been in prisons before. And Timpson's, you know, the shop, 10% of the workforce are manned by people who have previously been in prison. It was seen as quite left of field when that appointment was made. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next. But, you know, Trump isn't quite in power yet. He is president-elect, so we shall see what happens. Right.